Hello and welcome, or welcome back. Today, I'm super excited to share with you a quick little tour of my Kiki's coffee hut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the two different spaces that I designed, and then I will do an aerial view after I show you both of the spaces, just for anybody who is not interested in the aerial view and they just want to see what the two spaces look like so that you do not have to jump forward. Whenever I was designing the space, I looked at the Lilo and Stitch Kiki's coffee interior, and whenever I saw all of the colors that they used in the space originally, I decided that I was going to use that as my inspiration. So this is the inspiration that I had for the coffee shop, and you can see the different colorways that they used in the Lilo and Stitch movie, and I think that it is pretty reminiscent of the 90s. Whenever the movie was made, these were really popular colors, and it was also really popular to match all of these colors together. As you see here, because it is a cute little coffee shop, I wanted to make it feel nice and small and quaint. I made this room a lot smaller. I'm just gonna go over into a couple of these corners and I'm gonna do a little spin around so that you can see how the area is filled out and get an idea at the first person point of view if you like it, because I find that it matters to me what a room design looks like whenever you're just walking around the room, and I'm not as interested in the aerial view for looking at the decor of the room, but more so for seeing the layout of the room. And I do much prefer to look at the rooms this way. Whenever you're playing the game, this is what matters. You are in your room, and whenever you're in the room, you're at this angle. Over here on the wall, I was so excited to finally unlock this image. I actually was waiting to do this tour until I unlocked this. Then the new Storybook Veil expansion pack update released. I was super excited to get the rafters in, and I knew that it could make a space feel more architecturally interesting. Let me spin around in another direction. Hopefully this gives you a nice full and complete view of all of the space and what it looks like whenever you were in the space. And this time I'm going to try to keep the camera angle a little bit lower for anybody who is interested in that immersive feeling and how the space would actually feel if you were in it. Look how funny this Touch of Magic door looked fine until now, and now all of a sudden it looks a little weird. I was going for that colorway, so I left it. Whenever I'm designing my spaces, I do try to tuck items into the corner, and I always like to fill in the space with food that is representative of what the services will be provided at said location. And over here in this corner, you can see it was pretty dark, so I had to drop in a couple of the lights, and I don't know if it shows different on Switch than it does on like consoles, the lighting. I have had a weird issue with the lighting, and it seems like currently I'm able to fix it if I go into my camera mode, which is why my character's camera is out, because I was having a couple of weird issues, but it is currently working now. That's what this space looks like here. And now we're going to pop over into the space over on the right so that you guys can see the cute little bathroom that I designed for the coffee shop, owned by grown-up Lilo. So this cute tiny little space here is the bathroom that services the coffee shop. And whenever I was designing it, I wanted to keep that blue and white and pink color scheme in. So that's how this turned out, and that's why I chose the items that I chose. So we are going to have to do a little bit of pretending that we have stalls and that these are doors, but because we don't, this is the design that I came up with. I use one of the beams, and then I use one of the items from the premium shop Wanderer collection. I think it is a Toy Story item, I do believe so. And then I put another beam on the end cap so that I got that brown, white, brown, very similar to the sink area over here. And then of course I threw a light above the sink, and I used the buoy lights because I thought they were super cute, and I know that I didn't use them in the coffee shop, but I did want them in the bathroom. They weren't similar at all to any of the lighting from Lilo and Stitch's coffee shop, the Kiki coffee shop, from the few images that I could find online. But maybe in the movie you can see more. I don't have the time to go back and watch the movie yet, but hopefully I will, and then I'll be like, I wish I could have used that item. But that's how this space currently looks like. So now let's do our aerial views. Let's start here in the bathroom. Here is the room whenever you enter it from the door side, and then I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to give it a nice overhead view, spin around. I always ask, am I going too slow or am I going too fast? Please let me know. But yes, just let me know, if it's too slow or if it's too fast. You can always speed it up or slow it down on YouTube. And I know I'm not very good at doing these spin around aerial views. I don't know how everyone's so good at keeping things in the center. And now with this new grid, we can center things so much better, which is incredibly exciting and it's very encouraging. I've actually gone back to quite a few of my builds and worked on them. I was planning on going back to many of my builds and, just making some edits and adding new furniture in. Ever since these new updates have come out, I've just been adding all the new items and the new grid came out, and then item rotation came out whenever most of my builds that I wanted to record were done. So I have to redo all of those because I just don't think that they're worthy. But there you have it. That was the aerial view of the bathroom. So now let's go to the coffee side. Now, the coffee shop side. Hopefully one day soon I get the rafters from the Storybook Vale and then I can finish off this coffee area. I'm actually very excited to make that coffered ceiling look. I know that it's going to make the builds look so much more elevated and a lot more interesting, as well as give the rooms far more architectural interest, because currently right now, a rectangle is a rectangle, a square is a square, but at least it can break up the space and give it more unique areas. And definitely in the smaller houses and cottages, you would expect to see a lot of beams supporting the roof because they didn't have large structural beams the way we do now. So I really like to add that type of a thing in. And there you have it. That is the full and complete design I did for my Kiki's coffee shop. I wanted to do 4 designs, but I also wanted to show everybody that if you want to decorate a house skin, it's actually a lot easier than doing 4 rooms. You can shrink the rooms down. You only have to do a couple of rooms, and then you can have a complete house skin if that's what you're going for. I was considering doing a male and female bathroom, but I ended up deciding not to do that because I thought, well, what's the point of doing 2 bathrooms? I'm already showing you one. Do you really want to see another one unless it's that drastically different, which it wasn't going to be. So that's why I decided not to do that. And then I also considered doing a stock room in the back because I thought that that would be really cute and interesting. But based off of the items that we currently have, I don't think that a stock room makes a lot of sense for anybody because there were only 3 items that I found to be fully and completely suitable for a stock room. Please let me know what you thought about this video, if you can use it for inspiration. I hope to see you guys again in the future. Have a great day, everybody, and happy decorating. Bye, guys.